I'm going to bring my guest in here today.
Pana.
We need to... So today we're going to talk about the realness of having a side hustle.
The realness.
We're not even like in the frame. It's
not even a side hustle. It's a full-time hustle, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because we don't work full-time for anyone else. It's for ourselves.
But this project.
Oh, so you're talking about the podcast.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely need to prioritize this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Okay, so I'm gonna interview you, and then you can interview me.
Okay.
So what do you think is like the main reason why people do stuff like this, like a live show or a podcast?
It's a passion project, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've already had a podcast. I've never won. I've never had one.
That's your subconscious. You don't want one.
I've never had one, but I've always wanted one. Not
right.
always, but ever since the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say it's a passion project that I really probably should commit more time to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you talk about committing time, do you put? Oh, we have a dog. I don't know if you hear the dog under there. They're like breathing hard, but so you talk about investing more time in this particular project, and I think we're both pretty much needing to do that. But when it comes to like marketing ourselves, it's essentially what we're doing. We're marketing ourselves, but also helping others market themselves. And I think that's why we missed last week, or that was our second week missing, right?
No, it was our
first week, yeah.
Yeah, this will be our second week that the guest
late.
Yeah.
And I think as much as you can put like processes in place and like reach out to them. I mean, I think we were emailing with him like on Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
he was interested until we gave him the form, I think, or.
But even so, like we still asked if he was coming on. It wasn't a matter of, and then we got ghosted. And how many times does that happen in a business transaction or like someone that's, interested in your services or whatever, and then they just ghost you? And why do you think that people do that?
They get they're not interested anymore, probably is one. Maybe some fear could be into it, or some insecurity, self-doubt within themselves.
Yeah.
Or they're just not ready.
Yeah, I think we've tried to put in some. I'm gonna put this on Facebook. Yeah, let me just take a picture. We've tried to put some processes in place to, help us. To help us. Sorry, you need to talk because I'm like I can't do two at once.
Yeah, so I was just watching a few guys hug each other right in front
Hug it out.
So, who knows what kind of drama they had last night? But yeah, I mean, I think it's very unprofessional to ghost somebody, especially just in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that it's. I don't think anyone likes to be ghosted because there's no closure to it, or at least give us a reason why. I think that should be a good question we follow up with. Like, hey, was there something that maybe we did?
That, so you would follow up with this guy? I mean,
yeah, I don't mind. I mean, because what if we did something wrong and we don't know that, and then we think that we're not doing anything wrong, which I'm sure right now, I mean, I'm pretty sure we didn't do anything wrong because all we did was just send a form and ask.
At least give us a reason why.
Sorry.
No, I think that should be a good
Sorry, I'm trying to mute it.
So, yeah, I think, but it's just good follow up with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I just had a client, like, that was, I was just talking to you about, but another one that they are professors at UCSD, and they were looking for a project and to be done, and they already have it done, but they're trying to change the framework of everything and development and all the back end. And we were competing with larger agencies, 2 larger agencies than us, and one is a well-known one here in San Diego. And I'm sure we quoted them a lot lower, and I'm sure that the quality of work that they would have gotten from us would be just as good or even better than our competitors. And that's just because we don't have the overhead that these larger agencies have. So we can definitely quote lower and still give the same quality of work and attention to the project that is needed. But anyways, so I guess they had a few developers work on a project beforehand, and they got burned. And there was, like part-time developers working on their project, and it just was not working. They were using old technologies, trying to work on their project, and it wasn't the best way to approach their project. So they were kind of like, okay, well, we're kind of done working with part-time or small-time agencies or engineers because we just keep getting burned. So how many times are we going to touch the fire? And then,
right, exactly.
So now they went with this larger agency, and then they said that they'll get back to me within a month and see how they're doing. But either way, it just shows like everyone has different reasons for doing what they did, but they never ghosted me. But then I followed up with them. So when I heard the news that they went with someone else, I wasn't offended by it, because it's their money and they should do what they want with it. And I just asked them, if you can please give me constructive criticism. And when they came back to me, I thought, and it's funny because when I quoted them, I thought maybe, even though we're trying to quote them as low as possible, I thought, oh man, maybe this might be too much for them, because. But that was the lowest I was able to get the quote to, and so I was like worried a little bit about that, and but then when they got back to us, they pretty much just told me that was the reason, just because they got burned and they're gonna try a larger agency. It wasn't anything about us. It's just.
But it was.
Well, we didn't.
A little bit.
Well, we didn't make them feel like they're gonna get burned, but they've been burned.
Yes.
And they don't want to experience that again.
Yeah. But so the level of trust that they put in, just because it was a bigger agency and probably more expensive.
Yeah.
So they associated their trust level with the price.
Right.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah. I mean, could I quote them the same as St. John? Or oops, I shouldn't have said.
You name dropped.
Yes, I could have.
Yeah.
But and this is something I told them over the phone because they asked me like, why did we quote them at that price? And I told them because we can. I'm at that place where I'm trying to build my art portfolio. We're a startup. I don't have the same overhead that these larger agencies have, and even if I take a small loss, I'd rather take that small loss and build my company, and reputation, and then later I can start getting those bigger projects. But right now, this is where I'm at.
And I think there's like a happy medium to do that, because I've definitely been in that place where I feel that I can offer a rate at like a smaller rate that I think a lot of agencies don't charge, because I'm a solo person. But now as I grow, and in order to grow, I need to have a higher price point, or because not only that, so they associate like trust level, but also to keep myself accountable, to find the right team, to find, and it's not even like the team, because like there's certain things that I know, and I'm sure things that and how you can train other people, but also you training someone, learning something that you might be able to do quickly because you've experienced all of that over the last 5-6 years and let your expertise. But, I realized that, it is a lot of attachment to money and realizing, okay, how much is my time worth? And then like you're constantly associating your worth. It could be, you could be worth a ton of money, but like you're evaluating that in your head based on the size of your company, the connections you've had, the projects you've worked on before. And I think that it's really rough for us to constantly have to think about that. I think
Yeah, I mean,
I was talking to a friend of mine who is in a 9-to-5 job, 9 to 5, more of a traditional role. I don't think it's 9 to 5 specifically, but every time someone says, well, how much do you cost? How much is your service? Like if you're not in the right space mentally, like that is like associating what your worth is with a dollar amount.
mhm.
And people like in 9 to 5 jobs, they do that one time or maybe once a year when they do their review and talk about raises, but they don't have to do it like every week.
And not
Right.
only, yeah, and then not only that, they probably don't even ask for a raise too. A lot
No.
of people get intimidated to ask
Yeah.
during their review. I mean,
Right.
oh yeah, I never
I
asked
was-
for a raise either.
I was just, okay, I have a statement for keeping me on staff.
Yeah,
When you're building even like the side project, you know, help. Okay. Can you hear? Can you hear it now? Testing 1, 2, 3. We're back. Don't laugh at me.
look, you're having an orgasm.
Ew!
Like a dude orgasm.
Oh my god, this is live. What the hell? Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I was saying, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Anyways, we were talking about last week. We were talking about what we think we can invest in terms of having someone help us make sure that this gets done, make sure that the guest arrives, make sure we have topics to talk about, make sure it's valuable for everyone. I think I don't really like to talk to a wall. I like to, one, talk to people, but also, being able to, one of the goals was for us to talk to other business owners and learn from them.
Yeah.
What makes them do what they do and also
What makes
why.
them unique.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the goal with a lot of podcasts that, that are like marketing based or, business focused, but like when we don't have the people showing up, it's like, okay, let's just do one like we did the first couple episodes where we talk to each other when it's like the same things that we're talking over and over and over. So
not necessarily. Like this one's different.
This one's a little different. I'm trying to like change the energy. We're like, let's get in a good mood. I mean, I know why we did this, and I'm still glad that I have someone to help me stay accountable, because I probably wouldn't be live right now if Chris wasn't here, and you wouldn't be live if I wasn't here.
I would if I had someone else to talk to.
Right.
It's kind of hard to just be on here and just talk, unless if you're Will Smith.
So what can so knowing that like people like don't show up, and sometimes when you're working on a project and they don't value your time, or they end up not picking you, like how do you work on that? What are some things that you can
well, I just kind of let them know that like if I'm always here, the door's open, it's never closed for you, because I don't want to I don't get salty when people don't choose me, or it's not that they don't even choose me, sometimes that they don't even have the money to do it.
But do you think that that's like it's related to like finding the right clients?
Yeah, it's definitely trying to find the right clients. So trying to attract the right clients is hard when
you're building.
Yes. And also, so one thing that I am doing is pivoting, actually. So right now I've been focusing on startups or just meeting people at networking events, and those are individuals, and they're just trying to start a company, and some of them might have never started one, or just don't have the funding to build like a mobile app or a website, even like a simple static page that costs probably a couple $1,000s to make, that they can't even afford that. And a couple $1,000s is a lot of money. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily expensive, but I wouldn't also necessarily say it's cheap, depending on who the client is.
Right.
And
I'm fumbling because I gotta go put money in my meter.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm switching over to like casino gaming.
Yeah.
Focusing on that because it's a really niche market that they're using really old technologies. They need people like us.
Why don't you talk about that? And I'm gonna go put money in my meter.
You go do that.
I'll be right back.
I'll make sure that meal gets out of your way. Come on.
Doggy.
Come on, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just in case I get locked
out. So we plan on focusing on casino gaming just because, like I said, old technologies are being used. People or companies like agencies don't want to change the way that they're doing things because they've been using, for example, Microsoft forever. So now they're just stuck in a Microsoft environment. And then that's not helpful to these casinos either, because then now they have to use these Microsoft products too, and it's just so expensive in the long run when, there's so many tools out there for us nowadays to develop, to not be stuck in such an ecosystem like Microsoft, being, especially with trying to be an agile environment where everyone's trying to kind of shift towards now. You don't want to go that route. You want to be able to adapt quickly. And we're going to start with a small gaming operating agencies that do, slot machines that go into, small pubs or like bars, clubs, restaurants. Start with those and then start building our portfolio from there. We have a product that they're gonna probably want. We just have to make sure that we price it right for them. We want to make sure that we don't overprice ourselves. Also being fair to the market. Overpricing is never great. I feel like it's just a trait that I feel that is very important, is to not be greedy. I just want to be able to keep my business afloat, be able to pay my bills, and being able to pay my staff as well. I have a staff of 5 people. They are all overseas at the moment, in India, and we all came from the same large corporation from where we worked at before in casino gaming. So we thought that this probably would be a good shift since we're all very familiar with gaming. But I myself have come from different environments. I've come from gaming. I've come from agencies, music festival work, hospitality, travel. So I have a lot of different expertise in different markets, and it's valuable because we want to focus on gaming, but we also don't want to close the doors to, again, startups. We still want to be able to help, and I try to help out as much as possible because we understand how difficult it is to fund projects and finding the right dev team. It's really hard. So I try to and I've been through it myself, back a long time ago when I was in college, and I didn't know lick of code myself, or didn't know how to design. And I was trying to find the right team to help me and got burned so many times. And this is one of the reasons why I have started Pixel Lift, because I want to be able to help. And I wish I can help for free. I mean, that would be ideal for me, but it's just free is not going to pay the bills at the moment. Maybe one day, like if we ever for somehow acquire a lot of money and we can just fund projects from time to time, I would. Especially those that I believe in, and I believe in their team. Because I run into a few of those at the moment, and I wish I could really just, at the drop of a hat, just say, we'll take care of your project and don't worry about it. You just handle the business and we'll handle the dev work and the UI UX. But we're not at that stage yet, but we will hopefully one day, and that will be my dream. And another market we may want to go towards as well, probably within the next year, is government contracting. It's a good market to be in. They also need help. I think they are also getting ripped off by a lot of companies out there, just because the government does have money and people just want to take it. Again, with those projects, though, if you quote too low, they question you. If you quote too high, you don't get the project either. So you have to be right in the middle of those projects. So maybe we might have to start out with that, and then once we actually get some of those clients, we can probably build them lower, just so that they're happy and they stay with us and they still get the same quality of work. It's very important to me, quality, and also being authentic to who we work with. And I'm sure Marisa can relate to this when she gets back, because we're not, I guess you could say, we're not really salespeople, but we are very skilled in what we do. And not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but we can go toe to toe with a lot of dev agencies that are out there and develop the same quality of work, or even better, with a smaller team. Because might be a small team, but our brains are huge. Like we can create anything that's needed. And we've proven that time and time and again when people have come to us and asked us to create something. But that's on our portfolio, and we can't showcase on our portfolio because that is from the old company that we used to work for. And but for anyone who probably watches this, trust the portfolio, trust the process, and really pay attention, or even get referrals if you want. Referrals are always a great thing. Personal referrals, not just ones that you see online where they have a one sentence quote at the bottom of their website page. Or reviews are also great as well to get feedback. And so, Marisa,
I'm back.
Yeah.
Bitches.
How do you feel about reviews on companies? Do you feel like that's important to have as a company?
Yes. Yes and no, because it depends on how you me move this a little bit over so we can get both of us. Kind of have to sit close to each other. Yes and no. I think it depends on how you currently get your clientele, and if people are like organically searching for your services and they end up coming up on your website. I think that this is a big thing. You know, people are like, okay, like I need a website. They never drive traffic to the website. They have testimonials on their website, but they never drive traffic to it. So like, I think it's essential in terms of a foundation to like have reviews and, you know, have your Google listing and have reviews and, you know, have testimonials on your social profile, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, whatever. But I know that my existing sales process and how I'm getting referrals and leads and stuff is not through organic, through my website. I think that no pup.
Hey, Neil, no.
But, like my main source of existing leads is through conferences. And this is not marketing conferences. These are other conferences that I'm going to. Through clients that refer new clients. And then also friends who have known me for a while and understand that I do more than just social media. So I'm more of like a digital marketing manager. But I have those things in place so that it showcases if anyone ever meets me and then maybe checks out my website after the fact or when they're like showing other people, then I have that in place in terms of my online presence because it's part of my credibility. But how many people are looking for me that never contact me? Mm-hmm. I don't know. You know, we don't know that number. All I know is that there's a constant like flow of people coming in just because I'm making the right connections and finding the right people. And like, you know, I was telling Chris earlier, there was someone who got referred to me from a friend of mine, and it was mostly about websites. And I understood what she was saying, kind of like the system she needed and kind of her needs and who she was targeting. But me having her fill out like a quick form, you know, there's like 6 or 7 questions. I realized that that's probably not my ideal client. She is really focused on websites, which maybe, you know, phase 2, phase 3, she would be focused on more of stuff that I do. But, you know, knowing that from the get-go and not even entertaining getting into a scope of work discussion with her. Because not that I want to offload that to someone else like you, Chris, or another person that I know in website. I just don't have the time to spend on evaluating if this is going to be an ideal client. And maybe they will. Maybe they need me to manage that project. You know, like I don't know, but you know, it's just I know she didn't look at my website before connecting with me because my friend just CC'd me on an email. But if she looked at my website, she might say this is not even someone who I want to work with. But what can you do? Gotta let him down gently.
How do you let someone down gently?
I just say like you know, based on the information that I have, you might be better suited with my colleague or a business connection that I have that specializes in web design or that like I have people come to me that want to launch a product on Amazon. Yeah, sure, I could probably do it. Do I want to? Not really, you know, like, and it's not even like that I don't feel that they would pay me what I'm worth because I probably wouldn't take a project that's lower than what I feel I'm worth, but also just knowing when to say no to things, which I think when you're growing, it's really hard to say no.
It is, yeah, because like I said for myself, like it's about building my portfolio. So I want to say yes, but it's like the movie Yes Man too. Like if you say
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
Jim Carrey?
No.
Oh man, it's a great movie. But actually it's different. It's different than business, but he's they pretty much say like, like always say yes because you don't know which opportunity may arise.
Yeah, true.
You know?
I mean,
But in business, that's different. Like
you can say yes, but have a limit to your time.
yes.
Yeah, like I know we had talked about doing an hour-long podcast, but like since we don't have a guest, it's really us talking to each other. But we wanted to share, the realness of what we're going through. Like we had a guest that forgot about our show last week, so we didn't do it. And we wanted to talk about some developments on the podcast. And now this week, again, the guy ghosted us. So it's like, let's talk about the realness as much as we can. And, hopefully people can get some value out of this. But,
Yeah, because I'm sure we're not the only ones that go through this.
Mm-hmm.
There's always someone that you can relate to.
Yeah.
There's always someone.
Yeah.
Just trying to find an audience that relate to you as well. Like with this podcast, like we need to find people that support us,
Mm-hmm.
And that want to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, and we have the foundation set and we've tried things out, just like you said, like be agile and move things around when we need to. And we've tried out different locations. We're in a different location today. And, we're learning, I think. I've done a podcast before, but never on YouTube live with video and a co-host. So it's like, I think we balance each other out in terms of the stuff behind the scenes, but we can't wait till like Monday to like follow up with things or.
Yeah, so that comes with prioritizing this, just
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just a couple hours a week.
Yeah,
it's better than zero.
It could be 30 minutes.
Yeah,
we just have a standing
simple.
call.
Yeah,
and I think that has
and that's
worked
our
well.
fault.
Well, yeah, but we do communicate. We just don't make it a priority to like have our call.
Right.
And I think that I've learned that is also really good for people that I work with, like having a standing meeting every week. Even if you have no update, you still know that you're going to get their undivided attention for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like most of these calls that I do are like 30 minutes, but they last like 12 minutes because it's like you prepare for them, whatever time they are, you prepare for them the day before or the morning
They're more
before.
efficient.
Yeah.
Very efficient.
Yeah. And no one likes to sit through a meeting that's like waste of time.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you like how many times. So that's one thing I learned from my previous manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to make sure I'm always listening, right? And and my problem was that I was over listening. And my manager, she was telling me like, Chris, just book it for 30 minutes and make that meeting more efficient.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend an hour in there.
True.
And so I started doing that. And then because what would happen is when we're in a meeting, some other directors or stakeholders on a project would go this way. And then now I would try to bring them and align them back on the road that we were previously on to just stay on topic instead of going off on a tangent.
Right.
Because there's one director that we always met with, one of the project directors, and great man, smart, but he just so passionate that he just flares out everywhere and like, this is no, we need to come back here.
Yeah.
And then so I always had to like babysit him during the meetings.
Yeah.
And but anyway, she taught me how to just try to be more efficient in meetings. That's something I'll continue taking with me throughout my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else we need to talk about. So here's what we're going to do from now on. I think you and I have to keep each other accountable in terms of the podcast and, really sticking to, hopefully next week, our guest will be there. They have the information. We should follow up like multiple times as much as we can.
Like today.
To remind them.
Today
I mean, they'll
Friday.
forget. We should do like Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, or Friday and Monday. But that also, I think,
We should do it today, give them a week notice, and then
Mhm.
again, end of the week.
yeah,
And Monday.
right, yeah,
Actually, that
And-
should be our thing.
a week.
A week, 7 days out,
Mm-hmm.
a few days before, and then a day before.
Yeah. I don't know what that noise is.
That's not hard to do. Just go back in the email chain.
Yeah, I think
Just to remind you.
you and I need to have a standing meeting at someday.
Just kidding.
Friday. It could be, I mean, you could be driving, I could be driving. It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
like in person. I think that I think every time you and I meet, when we talk about business stuff, like we can talk about that in that meeting, like how I can help your business, what you need to vent to me about in terms of business.
It's funny because when we meet, we start venting.
Yeah. We're like buddies that are in business, and sometimes we can't talk about the shit that goes on because we're so involved, but we need, I think, people like us that are working alone and maybe even working in co-working spaces. No one wants to hear your shit all the time, so it's just rough though, because who else can you relate to sometimes?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, this podcast, we're on episode 7. It's still early. It's still young, I think, in our
Oh yeah, definitely.
in our testing. One thing I want to point out, the StreamYard, if we actually pay for it, we can stream to multiple platforms now.
Oh really?
Yes. So
All
we
at
can go
once.
to like Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, because I have LinkedIn Live now.
Oh okay.
Did you know that?
You told me.
Yes.
And I said let's test it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not sure what type of show I want to do.
We also should do audio. We gotta
Audio.
be-
Yeah,
convert
like
this
strip the
audio.
audio. Yeah. We definitely
So
need
they
to do.
can go like on SoundCloud
Or
Apple.
Anchor or something. I think Anchor goes directly to Apple too.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Because I
That's
know
something you have
that
to do research on.
I've used Podbean, and that costs like, $100 a year.
That's not
But, thinking about what we want to do for, it's October? I think we'll have a good plan of what we're going to do by the end of November.
Yeah, in 2020 we're gonna kill it. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe I'm being superstitious, but I think 2020 is gonna be a good year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's one of those years where everyone's getting married, having babies. It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not having any babies or getting married, but so that's already a one situation for me going into 2020.
Nice. Well, if you guys are still watching, I know we have one watcher right now. Thank you for tuning in to our show.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're watching? That's funny. I was supposed to say that.
But whoever does watch this, please share, please subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We really would appreciate your help and your support on our venture here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys also ever want to join, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
We are open to hearing your story. At this point, I just want anyone to kind of come in and just tell us more about who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner or work for someone else. Everyone has a different value. And if you know someone,
I think it's
refer
also good for people, like I know a lot, like one of our mutual friends, I won't name her, but she's terrified about going on live shows. So I think this is
do I know
a
her?
testing ground. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Then I know.
This is like a testing ground for people who
Yeah.
have not been on live shows, because it's a really casual environment. We talk to you. We kind of coach you through the call. Like, you're really just having a conversation with us, and we're learning about your business. But, once you go on like one of those bigger shows, and we'll get there, eventually,
And even if we
you'll
do,
be prepared.
I don't want people to, at the end of the day, if you screw up, whatever. I mean, if people hate
and there's
you
not
for it,
that many
then-
people watching, so.
Yeah. Even when you watch people on Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
you'll have guys that people don't know,
Mhm.
but they end up just going on and they're comfortable, and they mess up every once in a while. They don't speak correctly or whatever.
I remember my first live show. I was nervous, and
Really?
it was on Facebook Live, and I had a shirt that showed my neck, and it was my whole neck was inflamed and red because I was nervous. and it was on the show. So I was like, whatever. But now I'm just like, hey, hi, I'm live on YouTube.
And
Like,
you're more comfortable.
yeah.
Because actually, so yesterday I went through.
Are we doing an anecdote or are we ending the show?
Well, let me end it.
Okay.
So since we're speaking about this, I went to a networking event last night, and I was talking to some guy there, and he said, like he's really introverted, and going to the networking event, he was a little nervous because he's not comfortable talking with strangers, and I told him, like I used to be the same way, and I still am from time to time. Like it's hard for me from time to time to just go up to a stranger and just say, "Hey, how's it going?" and try to spark a conversation from there. But I was just telling him, like the more you do, it's like practice. Like for any type of event that may be like I may relate it to like fighting, since I do fighting. Like I train. And I train hard, and I keep going to practice, and I get better and better every day.
Yeah.
And then when I'm ready to go for a match or a networking event, I'm prepared. Or when I'm ready to go to a conference, because I went to all these smaller networking events, I'm ready to go to the big leagues and go to like these large conferences and speak to anyone who comes my way. And I was just telling them the same thing. Like go to more, put yourself out there, because the more you do, the more comfortable you'll be over time. And you'll just get better at talking with people.
Yeah.
And it's great to meet new people too, because you don't know who you may meet.
Yeah.
So I'll just end it with that. Like, don't hesitate to just jump.
Yeah.
And just go with it. And then whatever fear you may carry on. Yeah. Whatever fear you may have, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with fear, because then that pushes you, and then that keeps you kind of grounded and aware of what you're doing. So, but it's always good to take that leap of faith and just put yourself out there.
Right. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. If you ever catch us out in the wild or in the co-working space, whatever, make sure you say hi. And we'll catch you next week. Same time, 11 o'clock, Tuesdays, businessafpod.com. Bye.
Bye-bye.